Hey guys, welcome to the monthly First Friday Hangout and live stream. Hope everybody's doing good today. We got something kind of fun, I hope. We're gonna test colanders out. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the acrylic pour people, the people that just do like paints, I've seen quite a few videos with people doing these. I heard that soap makers use it. I don't know much about soap making, and I have seen a couple people use it for resin. Now, typically what they're doing is they're basically just putting it like on a canvas. So I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. We're going to try and make some blanks and see if this works. I have no clue. Originally, I was walking through the grocery store and I found this thing for like $2. And what I didn't really realize or think about is there's a lot of holes on the side of this. I don't know if this one's really going to work too well. So I went on Amazon and I found this one instead, where I can kind of pour resin in and it's not going to like go all over the place. I should be able to kind of capture it without it spilling out the sides. So I'll have a link. I actually put a link down in the show notes for this one already, but let me go grab the link real quick for you guys. I'll put it in the description. I have no clue. I'm not advocating for these things or these silicone colanders. I don't know if they're even going to work for what we do. But there's a link if you want to, if they turn out to be really cool or something like that. It's for these. It's actually a set of 3. I really was more interested in the small one, but I got a couple big ones too. So, you know, if you need a new colander for the kitchen, they kind of pop out. So you can get a nice couple of big ones, and then I was most interested in this small one. Now the bigger ones might work for if you did want to do just, you know, resin art kind of things. I don't know yet. But what I'm thinking is basically just if anybody's kind of like, well, what are we doing here? The idea is I'm thinking we'll probably do kind of like a dirty pour type deal where you're kind of just pouring all the colors into one cup and then just kind of pour it in here. And because it's going to be draining in a kind of a funky way, it's not going to be like just dumping colors. The idea is maybe it will mix them up into something interesting. I have no clue. It's going to be just kind of an experiment just to see if this does anything. So I'm excited about it. The blue one, yeah, it's probably some sort of HDPE. I don't know. It was $2. I really didn't care. One thing that is kind of neat is the hole. There's like less holes in this one, aside from the sides of this thing. But that, you know, we're going to actually try both of them. So just to let you know. But I'm going to have to be careful with this one. Otherwise, I'm going to have resin everywhere in here. This one, like I said, now this one's got a lot more holes, which I don't know that I like necessarily. And it's also got some kind of funky holes on the sides. So who knows? I really have no clue. And frankly, you don't even have to buy a colander. You could literally just drill holes in a piece of plastic or something like that. It just, you know, I figured the colander thing is the thing. So yeah, you use those in the RV. Yeah, I bet they work pretty good. It's nice. They're space saving. You can pop it down. I mean, that doesn't take up any room. You could even use it like this if you're just doing it flat probably. But we're going to do it like that because we might kind of pour some resin up into it. I don't know if I recommend you using your wife's stuff from the kitchen. That may land you in you know, jail kind of thing. 2020 needs a giant reset button. I know. It's mind numbing. Again, the one thing that I go back to, I just watched another SpaceX launch, and they're launching a bunch of, I don't know if you guys know this, I think it's called Space Link. They're putting a bunch of satellites in orbit, like 500 satellites or something like that, and it's supposed to be like internet. And I think I may be wrong about this, but I think they're going for like a free internet type thing that's super fast for like everybody anywhere on the planet. So I watched that launch too, and so I'm just excited about SpaceX. So I'm just gonna my mind's on that. So it's expendable. Yep. I don't know. All right, so yeah, the doghouse, that's right. Yeah, not jail, I guess the doghouse. All right, so we got 9 people. So I figure why don't we kind of get started? We'll get going on one of these, and you know, as people kind of maybe more people file in, you know, we'll do 2 of them. So I'm going to do the first one. Let's see. Let's do the first one since this was the original idea or the first colander that I got. We'll try this, and we're just gonna do these bricks. I call this my 6 pen blank mold. We'll just do a couple of these size and just kind of see. Now, you know, you're not gonna. It would be a lot more difficult to do something in like, you know, a 2-inch mold type thing like this, or you know, a 3 pen blank, and it. I don't know. You could probably get away with. It might be possible to do something with one of these type of molds. I think it's going to be pretty messy, and so let's just kind of do a couple tests with this, you know, with this bigger mold, and just see if it does anything. It may not be even, it may not do anything. I don't think they're going to turn out bad. I just don't know that it's going to be super spectacular or anything like that. So let me go and hit this with some Stoner mold release over here. Oh, actually, before we get going, I have a new product announcement. Oh man, I almost forgot. So I guess before we begin the colander thing, I want to kind of show you guys what I got. I got a new thingy. So let's switch to the casting view. So a lot of you guys probably know about my Starlight glitter. All right, let me get this thing situated. So Starlight glitter, and I use it for a few different things, but the Twilight blanks, where you add just a little bit of the blue to purple color shift and then some of this, and it's kind of twinkly. But you know, they're pretty big. They're larger chunks, you know, and there's even bigger ones in here, like pieces. So it's kind of a mixed, larger size of Starlight, and which I like. And I you know, I bought this and use it for a reason, but I wanted to get one that was like a micro size, you know, all micro particles, and it's kind of hard to get to show exactly what's going on with these things. It's kind of the same holographic thing, but they're just like super tiny particles. So I'm going to kind of show you a couple little quick thingies here. Let me put some gloves on, and I'll kind of show you a couple different ways that I like using this. It kind of gives you that like just very small, you know, it's basically kind of like glitter, I guess, in a sense, but just super small. And so it's cool for like if you literally just want like little star specks, little things of light in it. So let's I'm just going to mix up a little bit of Alumilite clear here, like 10 grams of each side, something like that. And I really like these little condiment cups for doing little tests and things. They work pretty well. All right, so we got 10 grams of A. Five, 6. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. I just wanted to show you because I'm excited that I finally got this stuff. Found a source for it. All right, so I'm going to mix this up, and I'm going to show you just a couple of different little things, and I think I can actually do all three. I have 3 things in mind. There's lots of ways you could use this, but I got 3 things in mind that I use it for personally, and I think I can actually do all of them in this one cup. Actually, I think I can get away with it. So you could use it with the blue to purple color shift powder and give you just like super fine Starlight kind of things. So that's one way. I'm not going to show you that because you guys kind of know that method already. All right, so I have a little bit of resin ready here. I'm going to actually zoom in. Let's see if I can zoom in. I don't want to change I don't really want to change anything. So let's see where, okay, there we go. I need the camera kind of zoomed out for the colander thing. So you really don't even need much at all. Like this is a tiny little amount. Okay. I'm hoping that I can get you guys a shot of this and it actually looks okay. Can you guys see, can you see that? Yeah, you can see it. See how it's just like little tiny specks of like little glittery light. It's kind of holographic looking. It's kind of the same stuff, I think, as the regular Starlight, but it's just super fine particles of it. Okay, so it works good in clear. It's an easy way to add a little bit of color, glitteriness, sparkles to clear. So I like that. I also like putting it with like, you can do a lot of kind of spacey things with this. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of red dye to this. Like a really tiny amount. All right, so you just tint it. Let's see what that looks like. Just add a little bit of tint, but it's super transparent and it still looks really cool. And when you add a little bit of color, you can see the little particles a little bit better. This works good for, you can add like red and like, you know, tiny bit of blue, and then you get really kind of spacey nebula looks. So that's another way. And then the other thing that I really love about this stuff is if you add black, you can literally make it look like space. And I might actually add another little bit of the glitter things. So I know there's a little bit of red in here, but I think the black will just overtake it. That's why I was thinking I can do all three in one cup. Multitasking. And you can kind of, you know, depending on how much black you add to this, but I mean, seriously, that's pretty spacey. And there's not a lot of black yet in there, but pretty cool. I really like this stuff. It's a good addition to the regular Starlight stuff. So I wanted to kind of show you guys that. There's a link in the show notes already, and I'll put a link here. But man, I really like the little small specks, and a lot of people were asking for that. Some people kind of expected the regular Starlight glitter stuff to be like this, and unfortunately it wasn't for them. So, and I kind of knew what they wanted, you know. So anyway, let's see here. I'm going to switch back to this view, I guess, for a minute. No, it doesn't sync. Well, I don't know. I don't really use it with anything that's like a super slow setting resin, but it really doesn't. The Starlight glitter doesn't really either, the other one. With Alumilite Clear, I haven't ever had any problems. I mean, they're so small that I don't think that they don't float and they don't sink. They just kind of stay in place. That's a good question. Space Force. You know what I want to do is I want to make... Are you guys familiar with 2001: A Space Odyssey, when he like gets to the monolith at Jupiter and he's like, it's full of stars? I want to make like a monolith thing with Starlight in it, and then I'm going to caption it, it's full of stars. So anyway, so there's that little thingy. We're going to fire it up, and we're going to try it with this one. Again, I'm just going to use, I call this my 6 pen blank mold. I'm going to kind of just stick it in there and dump some resin and see what happens. I don't know. It'll be kind of dirty pour-like, if you're familiar with that. So we got, I don't have my mold in the oven yet, so let's pop that in the oven. That one's already stoner sprayed. So we're going to need some colors, though. Okay, so for this first one, I think what we're going to do, let's try a couple of different things. We're going to go for a base color of white. I'm just going to add, you know, a cup, and we're going to have white. We're going to kind of do like a dirty pour type look. But I'm going to need 5 colors. So we got 11. It'll let's see here. We'll try and make this work. So we have 11 people here. I don't know if everybody's in the chat or not, but let's just say like the first 5. Oh no, now there's more people coming. 5 or 6 colors that you guys put in the chat I'll use, and we'll add in addition to white. So this might get kind of hectic since it's a little bit warm in the shop, but I'll try and kind of speed things up. So just toss some out in the chat, and I'll write those down in my little book here, and we'll start rolling on this. So let's see here. Where's my little book? Here it is. Let's see. So I should probably put a link in the chat window thing there for the micro. It's already on my website, the Micro Starlight. So there's that, available on my website. Yeah. All right, so we got red. I'm just going to go with your first one, John. You can't have 2 colors. It's only 1 color per person. Jeez. I gotta tell you guys the rules to this. All right, so we got, we had emerald first. Okay, so what's the date today? 6/5. 6/5, we're doing Colander. And okay, so number 1, blue Colander. So this mold holds For like about a 1-inch deep pour in this, it's 6x5, about 540 grams works pretty good. So I'm going to up that number just a little bit because we're going to have a lot of different cups, and you're always going to leave a little bit around the rim. So let's just go with 600 grams just to make sure. And so we got emerald. Let me write these down before I miss them. We got emerald, red, purple. I'm going to do 6 on this first one, I think. We got 12 viewers according to my numbers there. So, let's see. So pewter and yakinum are the same thing. So we're going to go with that. And I see gold from Jeff. Wait a minute. Sorry, Amy. I don't know why yours got not shown. Okay, so we got, hold on a minute. Emerald, red, purple, black, gold. Emerald, red, purple, black. And I'm just reading them as they came in on my screen there. Gold and yakinum, which is pewter. It's the same thing. All right, so we're going to do 70 grams for each color, and that's the total part A and part B. 70 grams for each color, and then we're going to do, what was it, 180 grams, I think, of the white. Yep. Okay. So let's get these notes going. I'm going to switch down here to the casting view so you can kind of see what's going on a little bit. There's a lot of cups. But it should be pretty quick. Now, the one issue is we do kind of need to wait so they don't bleed too much. But I think that it's actually going to work out because with the temperature in the shop, it's 78 in here, so I'm not going to have like the full 12 minutes. Anyway, I think it'll work out about right. So 70 grams for each one of these guys. We're going to put 35. We're going to put, let's go with, I think an 1/8 teaspoon should be enough. Of each of these colors. Let's see, purple. So, and I think somebody wanted the plum crazy. So Stuart said that. So let's do for the purple, we'll do plum crazy. That'll kind of cover 2 of you guys. We got yakinum. That's Alumilite, Alumidust Platinum. We're just ridiculous. This is what yakinum is. And we got plum crazy. Let's see here. Emerald green. Let's see, red. Why don't we let's toss in berry red. Instead of let's do one of these guys. Berry red dye. So that's obviously not going to be 1/8 teaspoon. Let's just call that 1 gram or so. Let's see, we got black. Tell you what, why don't we use the Starlight, the micro Starlight with black in this, since somebody brought that up. So we'll go with the black dye plus micro Starlight. Probably just put like a drop or 2 of black dye in there. We don't need a lot necessarily. Let's see, 35. Yeah, maybe like a drop, maybe 2 at the most. Yeah, I think 1 drop's good. Plus about an 8. Let's put in. We don't need an 1/8 teaspoon. We'll just put a small scoop. I'm going to call it of micro Starlight. We'll add a little bit of bling to that black. Gold. We got Caster's Choice Gold. Here we go. 1/8 teaspoon, and then we got platinum. Okay, and then 180 grams total, which is total, part A and part B, is just going to be white dye, and we want it to be. I'm going to see about 3 grams. We're gonna look at 3 grams. See what that looks like. Okay, so we got everything ready. A lot of planning to do, but I think we got it rolling now. And so basically what I'm going to do is we're going to fill up this cup with, I'm going to fill, total amount of resin. So 300 grams of part A, 300 grams of part B. We're using Alumilite clear slow set, 1-to-1 ratio. I'm going to mix it all up. We're going to put equal amounts, 70 grams in each one of these cups. And then there's going to be white in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to wait, and then I'm going to pour each of these cups back in here. And then we're going to do a dirty pour into our colander. So we'll just have to kind of see how that goes. There's different ways you could do this. Let's do this way, like this dirty pour where we're pouring all the colors into one cup first on this one. And then on the next one, we'll just pour each color in separately. So that way we'll get a couple of different looks at how this thing, how this all works. Should be kind of fun, I think. I'm interested to see. Hopefully you guys are. See if this works. I don't even know. Okay, so real quick, because it's kind of warm in here and we got a lot of things going on, what I'm going to do here is we're going to add our colors and stuff into these cups first. So we got an 1/8 teaspoon of pewter. I'll wipe that off. Eighth teaspoon of Plum Crazy. Okay. Emerald Green. I'm going to do the powders first here. Gold. Okay, and then we got berry red and black. And so I'm going to take that off. Actually, I don't need to worry. It's just going to be one drop, and then I am going to put a scoop of the micro starlight in the cup already, just so I don't have to take that step. We're going to give it a good amount. So that's how much I'm going to put in there. It's probably going to be pretty loaded for this little amount. That's fine. It'll be sparkly. Okay. That away, put these guys away here. Purple, green, pewter. And I'm going to measure out the berry red right now. We want to try 1 gram. I kind of like putting dyes into the resin a little bit better typically, but just because what can happen is that dye can kind of get stuck on the bottom of the cup a little bit. But in this case, I'd rather sacrifice that than, because I don't have that much time. All right, so let me scroll down real quick. All right, here we go. Hey, Ray's here too. Nice. Welcome. All right, so let's see here. What am I doing? Berry red, 1 gram. Can I shake this? You always want to shake your dyes. All right. I really have to have a talk with Braxton about these jars. It's great that they have the jars now, but they're still a giant mess. And I just wish that he would switch to these ones where it contains all the mess. I don't have a problem cutting the tips off or whatever. It would just not get all over the place. All right, so we got our cups. We still need to add a drop of black. I'm going to do that later once we have the resin in there. But We're ready to roll here with our resin. So 300 grams of part A. $260. We're getting there. $280. Oh man. $290. $299. Oh, $299.5. It's teasing me. $300. Perfect. All right, and then 300 grams of part B. $288, $298, $300. All right. So let's make sure that I don't have stuff all over me. All right. So we'll mix this up. As always, you want to make sure that you're mixing well, scraping the bottom and the sides of the cup. You guys all should know that at this point. Okay, looks good. I'm going to continue mixing anyway, so even if it's not that mixed, it looks like it's mixed, but so I need how many grams? 70. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to get it close, you know? I don't know that this is going to be a particularly recreatable type of thing in the first place, so I don't know that any of these numbers are super important, but you know, just for the sake of it, we should probably get it close. Okay, 2 down. If I was really, really caring about all this, I would zero out the scale on each one of these cups. It's not that big of a deal though. But to be accurate, that's what you would want to do for the most accuracy. Technically, they're all about equal. It hasn't changed from 0 on any of them, but the proper thing to do would be to zero it out. Okay, and I'm kind of going fast. I don't have a whole lot of time necessarily. So I'm zeroing this one out. Dyes weigh a little bit more. Could have just gone with 69, I suppose, because we had a gram of dye in there. But we're good. Okay, so we got all that. I'm going to add a drop of dye, black dye. Let me shake this up real quick. The black one and the white one from Alumilite, and all of the divine pigments you want to shake. So 1 drop of black, that ought to be plenty. And I'm going to mix that in right now. Why not? Then I want to add my white, and I'm going to use, I'm really digging the Divine Pigments white. It's a little bit more concentrated than Alumilite's white dye, so, you know, given the option, if you're, you know, for me, I'm going to use the Divine because it's cheaper and it goes farther. It just, that one's kind of makes more sense to me, and it's more pure white looking. So I've been digging it. It's a good one. So we need 3 grams, I believe it was, yeah, 3 grams of white. I'm going to look at it. I think that should be plenty. We're using the Divine White. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's perfect. There we go. That's about 2% factored against the part A, so or like half the resin. I want to make sure that the white just sinks like a rock, so I want to make sure that I'm scraping the bottom, make sure I've gotten that dye mixed in well in the cup. I don't want little remnants of dye floating around. So we got our base cup sitting right there. Now we need a bunch of popsicle sticks. And I think we're doing pretty good on time. I've been pretty efficient so far. Here's our berry red. Let's see what's going on here. They sent me the wrong pen kits. Ugh. Okay, that one's good. The black was already mixed. Let's give it a little stir here real quick. Black. Gold. This is going to be wild. It's going to be colorful, that's for sure. It'll be kind of nice with all these colors to kind of, I think that'll help to see where things go, you know, with this colander thing. I don't know. I really don't even have any expectations with this. Emerald green. A little bit of, what is this? I can't think of the name of it. Plum Crazy. I went blank for a second there. Plum Crazy, guys. It is wild. And then Yakinum, which is Alumalite Alumidust Pewter. It's a really good gunmetal silver color. It's one of the better silvers that I've seen. Still bummed that they don't have the metallic silver though. It kind of really upset things for some of my blanks that I make. It was kind of a staple in some of those designs. So we're around 94 in there. These are probably going to be a little hotter. I find that these bigger cups with kind of a low amount generally tend not to heat up as fast as kind of having a closer, taller mass. Well, 95, about the same. So we got a little ways to go. I think I'm going to wait till about 105. I'm finding is a pretty good number. I could probably even wait till 110, the way things are right now. What ends up happening, and this is why I'm kind of a stickler on when people say, what temperature should I pour at? I say it depends, because it really does depend on what's going on in your shop. And so right now, it's 78 degrees in the shop, and my resin is sitting out, you know, on the counter. So its temperature is higher, and as the resin's temperature rises, it thins out more. And so, you know, what we're looking for is kind of a combination of when the resin will set up, and the viscosity is kind of one of the important factors in this, trying to keep your colors separated. It also has to do with when you're trying to pour color swirl blanks, the viscosity is very important depending on how you pour it. So that's why I say it kind of depends on your situation and how you pour things. So right now, I can wait till 110 degrees, where I was usually, you know, maybe, you know, 100, 105, but we can extend that a little higher, and it's going to act the way it did before. But we also do have a little bit less working time. So you have to factor all these things in when you're thinking about this. And a lot of times it just depends. You just have to do some tests to see what works the best. But I think that we'll be I think we'll be good. I mean, I think we can actually run this kind of to the upper end. Some of the times, some of the factors depend on how long it takes you to pour all your resin in. And you might have to start at a little bit lower temperature to make sure that it's not like totally just coming out as a lollipop, they call it, like a big chunk and hardened resin at the end of, you know, when you get done. With this, all we're doing is pouring it into a bucket, you know, pouring them all in there and then pouring that out. So we have a little bit of extra time with this, and I think we can kind of run it a little bit higher than normal, than I would if I was just pouring these out into, you know, into a mold. So we're about 105 there. Let's do 110. So I'm gonna write this down. Pour at 110 degrees, and it's 78 degrees in the shop. So that's a good thing to write down in your little book of notes. 103. Get out of the way, popsicle. 107 there. So we're getting pretty close here. 105-ish. I don't know how these are all kind of different. That's kind of weird. But 107. So we're pretty close at this point. And just to kind of let you know, this is the viscosity of this. It's a good idea to do this little test and just see how does it run off the stick. I find that it's easier. Now, you may be able to get away with, and this is why you should test your stuff, temperatures and all that stuff on your own, because you may be able to get away with it being thinner and it doesn't really matter. But I find that thicker usually works a little bit better for me. All right, so we're at about 110 there. So let's start dumping these guys in. Can you guys see that cup, sort of? We're going a little over 110, I think, at this point, because I'm messing around with these, but I think we'll be okay. So we'll dump our gold in. I'm gonna dump all the colors into this one cup, okay? That's how this is gonna work. And they call this a dirty pour, because it ends up just being kind of funky crazy. Starting to get a little thick. It's always worrisome. Don't feel bad if you kind of start freaking out when the resin starts really getting thick and hot, because it happens to all of us. Even I'm like, oh my God, we gotta go, but we got time, don't worry, it's okay. But it is nerve-wracking, so don't feel bad if it happens to you too. It happens to me. There's just like a certain amount of volume where then I start to kind of freak out. If it's like 1,000 grams and I'm like, oh my God. Like one batch of pen blanks, I'm not usually that freaked out. But on the big pours, I tend to chicken out quick. All right, so we got our colander. You guys can kind of see what's happening here. It's not the best view. I wish I had like an overhead and that, but so I'm just gonna kind of pour this in here. And I got to kind of watch out. I can't let it get too high. So you can see the striations coming out of the cup. Now it kind of looks like mud in the bottom of this thing. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this all works out. But I think the other one's going to be a little bit easier. And we're going to be doing that one a little bit different. Oh, I went too high. I wasn't paying attention. Get a colander that fits. That's my tip for the day. Did you guys see that? It kind of looks like mud. I don't know. It's just kind of dripping down into the thing. I told you this is going to get messy. Oh. We can even kind of play around with this. Can you guys see that? So that maybe can give you guys an idea of what the point of this is to like make it drip out. And I can actually kind of use it on its side like that. There we go. So I don't know, this kind of turned into mud. Definitely messy. Definitely messy. Okay, I'm just going to put that there. We need to get this in the pot, I think, at this point. Oh, man. Making messes left and right. So, I don't know. That looks like mud to me. Kind of looks like mud. Maybe we shouldn't have gone with a dye. What am I doing? Put the lid on. Put it under pressure, quick. The inside of that might look actually decent. I don't know yet. We'll have to kind of see. Have to kind of see. Okay, so we got that one in there. Oh man, made a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. I'm going to clean this up so I don't stick my hand in it later, because I will. And I'll get it all over myself. No, I'm just making it even worse. That's okay. There goes my fresh, clean silicone baking mats, guys. They're done. They're broken in now. All right, so and actually before I want to get this mixing stick cleaned off if I can. But it's still not even like hard, you know, like we still had some working time left, so we could probably go even higher on the next one. 120, I think, might actually be okay. So let's get our cup over here in our dirty cup aisle. All right, so I'm going to put, let's see here. I'm going to put that thing on my other dirty dirty silicone mat over here on the ground, and it can contain the spill. I don't know how easy this is going to be to reuse, but anyway. Let's see here. Melted, yeah, it does look like melted ice cream. Oh man. All right, so that was kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. I think the next one, like I said, I'll be a little bit more careful pouring, and we're going to kind of pour like a few, like a color at a time kind of thing. So it'll be a little bit of a different thing, but this is actually looking pretty cool. What ran out of there at the end. I'm going to get behind the camera and I'm going to show you guys what this looks like on the mat. So who knows? You know, that's the thing, is this may actually turn out kind of cool in the end. It's just going to depend on when we cut it up. But I mean, look at that. That looks like, I don't know what, you know, that's looking pretty cool actually. So, okay. So number 2, let's get ready for number 2. I'm going to get a drink before we do number 2 here. All right, so you guys are throwing out ideas. Yeah, I don't know. A different colander might work. Honestly, I have no clue if any of this stuff would work. One of the problems is it kind of mixed up a lot in that cup, and frankly, I needed to wait a little bit longer before I poured them together. That's what I'm thinking. They did kind of end up bleeding. And another thing that I find, you know, like, I have a lot of trouble with deep pours. Like if you're pouring something that's really deep, the resin just kind of, that's when everything gets kind of really messed up. Pen blank pours, if you're just pouring it and you got the cup and you're pouring it carefully, it's much easier to keep colors kind of from like just totally going crazy on you if there's not a lot of gravity, if you're not dumping it a pretty far distance. Let me just, I want to get this side cleaned up a little bit here. I tend to put my hands down on the edge here, and then I end up with resin all over my clothes, and then the clothes go in the trash, and it's a bad deal, guys. It's totally a bad deal. Okay, so number 2. And the 6 colors worked fine. I don't think there was any problem with that. So let's do the next round here. Toss out 6, and if you threw out a color on the last one, let someone else go this time. Toss out 6 colors. Actually, at this point, I don't know how many, I'm not 100% sure, but everybody that's left, only one color. Toss out a color, and I think that we should have enough, we should be able to get everybody to be able to pick a color on this. So if you haven't picked a color on the other one, pick one now, toss it out there in the chat. All right, so number 2 is the green colander. Adding some notes here. Green colander, and this one's going to be individual pours. So, and I think it was, who said that? Yeah, so Julie, we're going to try the individual things this time and see how that works. And actually, here's another thought about this situation. So, let's do white again as a base. I want to try something else. One thought just occurred to me. So, rather than pouring all the colors through the colander, let me switch my doohickey back so I can see what I'm talking about. Rather than pouring all of them through, let's put white down in, let's see, white's really heavy though. Let's put like half of the white in already. Put the colander over this thing, and it should kind of sit up above the resin. Then we'll pour our colors in and a little bit of white as well. So let's kind of switch it up slightly. And I'm going to be making notes about that. So let me go spray this mold. We'll just have to see it. And you know, something like this really, sometimes doing something like this requires a lot more testing than what I'm doing. You know, like, but I think you kind of learn things fairly quick. And so, you know, these 2 tests may not show anything that's really like, oh wow, that's amazing. However, you know, maybe a few more tests after we've gotten the results of these, we may realize like, oh, you know, this might have been a better way to do something. And so, you know, just because these aren't really the most amazing things, if they turn out where we don't really necessarily get any good results, it may still be worth trying some other things, you know. So, and at least if you want to try something, you know, you'll have seen this, and will hopefully avoid the mistakes that I'm making. How about that? Okay, so get our colander out of the way, get our little thing. So same numbers, 180 for the white. We're going to go 3 grams of Divine. 6 cups, 6 colors there. So let's start loading up our powders in here. So we got our teal. Okay. Teal. That should look pretty cool. Teal, sky blue. Midnight purple. Micro pearl. Lagoon blue, what am I missing here? Blaze orange, there we go. I was missing one. So I got a video ready to rock for tomorrow that I think you guys might like. I don't know. I'm excited about it. So that'll be ready to rock 8:30 a.m. Pacific time on my channel. Finally, it's just a regular video, guys. Finally got time to do one. These things situated a little bit. And I'm going to just put let's just put the dye in now. Even though I don't love doing it this way. Actually, I'll have time. Never mind. We had plenty of time last time. So I'm going to wait. I kind of like waiting with the dyes, like I said. Okay, so this time we're doing individual pours. We're going to pour it at... We're going to start pouring at like let's try starting to pour at around, I don't know, 110 to 115. I think we were a little bit above 110 last time anyway. So I'm just going to put somewhere in between there. Okay. So let's get our cups out of the way here. We got our Lagoon Blue. So I need a big cup. Let's get a big mixing cup. This one's not super clean, but I'm just going to scrape this out. There's a few little resin bits on the rim. Just going to scrape it out. I got a metal ruler. I'm just going to blow it out. It's not that big of a deal in this case, since we're going to be adding dye and a bunch of colors to it, but I usually like to use clean cups if I can. Okay, so are we ready? You're still editing it. Sweet. I can't wait to see it. That's cool. Let's see here. Okay, so we got it zeroed out, 300 grams of Part A. And don't forget, guys, once we get done with this, then it's Q&A time. So if you be thinking of any questions that you might have for me that I can maybe help out with. $200, $290, $95. Oof, $299. Okay, I think that ought to be good. 300 on the dot. And Part B, 300 grams of this. $297.5. Oof, almost there. That ought to do it. 300.1. Good enough. Okay, so we'll mix this guy up, and then we'll start dumping it off into our individual colors. Like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour about half of the white into the mold first. Let's just see what that does. I don't know. You know, maybe another way that this would have been interesting to do is like, you know, you could just pour. There's a billion things you could try with in different ways, but it might be kind of cool to just pour clear resin in and try to go for like a graffiti effect type thing. I don't know. I think that would actually work quite well with this type of method, but I think in general, you know, this is probably best suited for just doing a flat kind of canvas type thing, like the resin art type things. Probably the best way to go on this, but you know, I don't know. I think you could get some interesting results if you're interested in kind of playing around with this. I think you could probably get some kind of funky stuff going on, and especially depending, you know, we were talking about square holes or different holes. You know, depending on the pattern and all that kind of stuff, how quickly it flows through there. I think there's a lot of different types of things that could go on with this type of method, you know. All right, so let's zero this out. We're going to put 70 grams in each one of these guys. or pretty close to that anyway. Oh, I went way over on that one. Oops. That one's got 73. That'll be okay. All right, 2 more to go. And I'm going to add 1 gram of dye to this one. There we go. And I need to add 3 grams of white dye to this. So I'm going to mix this in right now. This is the Divine Pigments Lagoon Blue. This is one of my favorites. I really like this one. Nice looking blue. Okay. And let's get the white out. I need more little, oh, that didn't work at all. Okay, 3 grams. Zeroed it out already. Okay, 3. Nice. Perfect. All right, here we go. Let's start mixing up the white. Whoa, I'm getting a little crazy with it. Flinging it out of the cup. You don't need to mix that fast. It's not a race. Okay, set that aside. Let's get some mixing sticks here. Okay, we got our sky blue. John gets ice cream. Nice. The replay of this will be up if you want to catch it again. So yeah, all the Patreon, it's not up on my YouTube channel, but you guys have access to it if you just click the link again in Patreon. I don't get rid of these. They're just unlisted on YouTube. Yeah, put your link to your YouTube channel, Julie. I don't have it either. Good call, good call. Got our blaze orange, teal. This is one of my favorites also. This is a pretty close. Well, it's maybe a little bit more green, but it's not a bad choice if you want to make something like Tiffany blue. It's a pretty darn close. I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was pretty close when I matched it up. Either way, it's just a nice looking color. Chad, what's up, man? We're pouring. We're experimenting. We're pouring stuff in a colander. The first one, we'll have to see how that one turned out. I don't know. It kind of looked like mud, but as you know, we all know, sometimes what's in the actual pressure pot, what comes out of that mold, may actually be interesting and not mud. So I don't know. So this time we're going to do it a little bit differently, though. So the first one I did a dirty pour, poured everything in 1 cup. I was using a different colander and it just kind of all seemed to turn into mud. That's what it looked like. We'll see. We'll have to see. This time we're going to pour half. So we got a base of white. We're going to pour half of that in the mold first. Then we're going to do like individual cups into the colander, so this isn't the mold we're going to use, but basically we're just sticking a colander over a mold. We're going to pour half of it in there. We're going to do a little bit of each and then see how the second one goes, and then kind of compare and contrast, see what happens, see how they ended up working out. See if this is even worth continuing, because I think there's a million things you could do with this. I don't know that it's super effective for like pen blanks, you know, for what we're doing, but could be. You know, maybe it would work better for larger blanks, possibly. I don't know. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to try it. I haven't really seen too many people do it with resin in general, and when they did it, most of them did like just the you know, canvas like art stuff, flat stuff. All right, so we're going to pour this at around somewhere between 110 and 115. It's about 78 degrees in my shop right now. So that should be pretty good. We're about 100. Looks like right there. Yep. Should all be about the same. Let's see what this one's at. Yeah, so we're at 100 right now. So we got colander pour. We got, let's see, what are we doing? 110 to 115. So we got a little bit of time left here. What are you up to, Chad? How's things? So I saw the new mountain bike. That's pretty sweet. I've been thinking about getting a new mountain bike myself. I don't know if I need one though, because I'm not really beast mode mountain biker. I'd probably be better off just getting a helmet first. That's probably where I should spend my money. My bike's a little bit heavy though. It's pretty old. It's about 10 years old at this point. Problem is I really don't know what kind I need or want. But I do kind of want to get into mountain biking. It looks a lot of fun, but the question is, am I actually going to do it or not? Plum Crazy. Yeah, it's a caster's choice color. I would go get it. I'll get a link at Turner's Warehouse for you in a minute. All right, let's see where we're at here. We're starting to thicken up a little bit. 105, 106, 7. We're there. Oh, actually, no. 110. What am I doing? 110 to 150. We're almost there. We're almost there. I'm in the 105 mode. That's what I've been. It's kind of been the number. 100 to 105 has been the number when it was a little bit cooler. 108. All right, we're almost there. We're getting there. Get our mold out here. Make sure that that's kind of. I'm going to put it kind of like this. Actually, I don't know. Kind of want to maybe just drop the camera down a little bit, and just so you can kind of. I'm too far away. We're just going to keep it like this. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing while I pour it in there. There. All right, where are we at here? Oh yeah, we're good now. Okay, so first thing I want to do is pour half of this white into the mold. Maybe even a little bit more than half. We'll see. Okay. Just going to kind of stick the colander there, and I'm just going to kind of, I don't know. Just pour a little bit at a time and see what happens. It's kind of angled. I don't know if that makes any difference. There we go. That doesn't seem to be, yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm just looking on the bottom there. I think this is working a lot better. It's definitely not just turning to mud. Whoa. Colander's a little wonky. That adds to the fun, though. That adds to the fun. Let's add a little bit of white, too. See what happens there. Oh. I don't know. I'm just winging it, guys. I'm just winging it here. I think the interesting thing is I really don't know what's actually underneath this right now. So that'll be kind of interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know what we got. Let's do a little bit more of this white dye. I'm going to do the rest of the white dye here. Good enough. I'm going to go for it. It's starting to kind of heat up a little bit in my hand. I'm just going to dump the rest of each one of these guys out now. I could just keep going with smaller, you know, smaller pours like I was doing, but I think it'll be kind of fun to just have at it, you know. Eventually it's going to get so thick that it's not really going to want to go through the colander at all. So it's one thing to kind of keep in mind. And actually I think we filled it to the point where it's not actually going down, possibly. I don't know. I have no clue what this is going to turn out like. Again, it kind of looks funky. It's not looking super awesome. But I actually think this one is going to be cool. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but it looks terrible. But I really have a feeling that it's pretty cool on the inside. I don't know. Maybe the white dye, you know, like Julie said, maybe if you just went with pearls, this would turn out, you know, different, better. I do know that dyes can kind of play around with things. They work a little bit differently. So, you know, again, there's a million ways that we could have done this. But the main thing is we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. You know, once we cut these bricks up, you know, then we'll know, you know, how did that really turn out? Because right now, I couldn't tell you. I have a feeling that one's at least going to look pretty decent, but it looked terrible on the top, you know. Just looked like muck, basically. This is pretty fun though. Something totally different, you know. Like sometimes when you try something new that other people do, you know, like you've seen a million times. Sometimes that can actually be kind of disappointing because, like, if you don't do it well, like I did the alcohol ink thing, and that didn't turn out very well, and I've seen much better results. It's not like I've really seen a whole lot of this colander thing with casting, so I'm just kind of totally winging it on this one. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what we end up getting out of these things. I don't know. I had fun. Did you guys have fun? It was fun seeing how that kind of worked, making a big mess. Well, all right, the results are in, and meh, you know, I don't know. The first batch really looks terrible. I don't think that the dirty pour method is a really good way to do this. The second batch wasn't bad. There's nothing wrong with it necessarily. Not super amazing. I think that I would maybe change a couple things if I was going to try this again. I don't think that I would probably try it without dyes at all. Just go for mica powders, and then I would probably do it similar to the second pour, except I don't think, if I did it again, I don't think I would do it where I pour a bunch of resin in the bottom of the mold first and then pour cups. I would just put a colander in there and pour a bunch of cups, you know, one after the other like I did. I don't know. You could probably get some pretty interesting results doing it that way. I'm just not sure. And the thing is, for me, there's better ways to get kind of cool, interesting results. I mean, just off the top of my head, you could do the flip cup method, and that's going to give you similar results to what you're getting here. And it's frankly, every one that I've done, I've gotten good results. So I think that that's probably a better way to go. You're a little bit more guaranteed to get something good out of the out of it in the end. And it's not as messy. It is maybe a little messy sometimes, but if you let the resin cure in your colander, like I'm going to have to like poke out all these little holes. Basically, I don't have time for that. This one I destroyed. So, and I got resin everywhere. So I don't know that this is a really great method for doing it this way. I have seen people get pretty interesting results doing it as just resin art, where they're pouring it on a flat surface. But they pour it out and then they usually like rotate it, and there's more going on than just pouring it through a colander usually. So I don't know if this is the most amazing thing. Another thing is slower setting resins may work a little bit differently. It may be worse. I don't know. But we tried it, we gave it a shot, and whatever. But that's why we experiment. That's why I like doing different experiments, because the thing is, you may go into an experiment thinking, oh, this is not going to work, because that's kind of how I was with this. But you may be, surprised. You may find out something. Or, worst case scenario, it doesn't work, but you learn something in the process, So, hopefully this kind of helped you guys, spark an idea maybe. Or, I don't know, at least you won't fail and try doing it the way that I did it with a colander. So anyway, if this is your first time on my channel, we do all kinds of resin casting projects, tips and tricks, and experiments around here. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified when new videos get posted. And when I go live. Now, just to let everybody know, this was a live stream replay for the first Friday Hangout with my patrons. So we do that. I do a little demo. This was the demo, colander casting. And then the second half is a live Q&A and Hangout. So that if anybody has any resin casting questions that are kind of, they're having trouble with something or just, curious, I can kind of answer that. And it's, I'm basically just focused on the chat. So if that's something that you might be interested in, head over to patreon.com/nvwoodworks. You'll help support the show and get access to these monthly live Hangouts. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this experiment come to life. We didn't get amazing results this time, but hopefully in the next experiment, we'll get some breakthrough results. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching this video, and happy casting.